Flash starring Ezra Miller is DC's kind of final swan song minus Aquaman 2 that comes out in like a year or so. It's kind of their last hurrah as the DCEU before James Gunn restarts and kind of reboots and kickstarts an entirely new DC film universe. And for what it's worth, I thought this movie did a pretty good job of kind of ending everything that we have seen up to this point with all of these DC movies. So without going into any spoilers, because honestly, this movie is just chock full of spoilers, I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the things that we saw in the trailer that you're going to kind of be able to put together in your mind about what this movie is about. Flash, Ezra Miller, Barry Allen, he is trying to go back in time to undo his mother's death because his father was wrongly accused for murdering his mother, and he's just trying to undo the whole situation so he can make it right in his own mind. And while doing this, he kind of tears apart time and space and creates this just multiverse of madness, no pun intended, I guess, that he is now kind of stuck in and has to figure out a way to solve these problems that he has created for himself. And like I just mentioned, this is another one of those multiverse movies that we have gotten. We have really been seeing a lot of in the comic book genre lately, especially just coming off the heels of Across the Spider-Verse, which came out literally like 2 weeks ago, which was done masterfully. I just reviewed it. Go check it out. But we are starting to get a ton of multiverse movies. And when you have these multiverse movies, you start to maybe run into an issue of quote unquote too much fan service. But at the end of the day, that's what I want. I am a huge fan of these movies, so give me things that you know I'm going to like. For instance, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, all of these movies I absolutely love. So when we've got The Flash, you're going to be doing this multiverse movie. Give me things you know I'm going to love. And you know what they did? They gave me stuff I loved. Michael Keaton back as Batman was awesome. I loved seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman. You got that Danny Elfman score, that Batman theme from 1989 that just brought a smile to my face. I was loving every second that Michael Keaton was on screen. And then you've got some other things thrown in too. You've got General Zod coming back. You have Supergirl coming in. You've got another Barry Allen in the mix. And all of these different things kind of making this movie fun, interesting, and unique in its own right. However, one thing I think they kind of struggled to do throughout this movie with interjecting all of these new characters and multiverse stuff going on was to maintain a consistent tone throughout the film. The beginning of the movie started off so goofy and off the wall. Then they started to kind of transition into a more serious kind of tone, but they were still interjecting some of that goofiness, and you weren't really able to take some of that serious stuff seriously. And overall for me, I just kind of started to lose interest as the movie went on when it came to an overall plot and storyline to follow. And another thing that I kind of really struggled with this entire film was the CGI. So many times throughout this entire movie, I'm sitting there watching it, and the CGI looks worse than a lot of video games I play on my Xbox Series S. And I'm sitting here watching it, and it's just taking me out of the movie, and it is looking so unfinished. And I don't know if that was kind of what they were going for or what, but the CGI so many times from beginning to end, I'm not just going to pick out different specific points. Really, the CGI throughout looked really unpolished. And for me, it didn't work at a lot of times. And I really don't want to sit here and knock the movie too much because I really did have a lot of fun watching this movie. And I really did enjoy myself from start to finish. I thought Ezra Miller as Barry Allen in the lead of this movie, I thought he was really good. Despite being an awful human being off screen, I thought what it's worth, he was a really good Barry Allen. They kind of mentioned and played it as a joke about how annoying he used to be as Barry Allen. He's a little bit more grown up and mature in the present day Barry Allen that we saw on screen. And then Michael Keaton coming in. Michael Keaton was great, but you know what you're going to get when you have an actor at the level of Michael Keaton. So that was really good too. And then Sasha Calle, I think is her name, who played Supergirl in this movie. I thought she was really good too, especially with the little bit that they gave her in the entire film. They did not give her much character development, so you're not really going to care about the outcome of her character or care about what really happens to her. But what they did give her, I thought she kind of knocked out of the park, and she really nailed it as Supergirl, and I did enjoy what they gave her to do in this movie. And then finally, I want to talk about Andy Muschietti, who directed this film. I thought he did a fantastic job, especially with what he was given, because you know what, the DCEU is ending, so he kind of had anything and everything to play with, because when you're doing a multiverse movie and the outcome doesn't necessarily affect future movies, you're able just to have a lot of fun with it. And I think that he did have a lot of fun with it. And he gave the fans that fan servicey stuff that we love, especially with adding in Michael Keaton. You've got Ben Affleck coming back. You've got some other really fun cameos that we see throughout this movie. And I thought Andy Muschietti did a really great job. The cinematography and a lot of the actual scenes that the Flash was doing, they felt fast and they felt fun. And you know what? Overall, I think that this movie is just a really fun time at the theater. Overall, I definitely think it's something that you guys should go see. So my final score for The Flash is a 7 out of 10. It definitely has its flaws, but for what it's worth, it's a really fun time at the theater. So have you seen The Flash yet? If you have, did you love it? Did you hate it? What are some of your thoughts? Comment down below. Also, leave a comment down below with the DCEU ending and them rebooting this whole DC universe of films. What are some fun castings that you would like to see, whether it's for Batman or Green Lantern or Wonder Woman or Superman? What are some fun castings that you would like to see? Leave your comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.